Knuschelbär versus Lucas99. These they did play earlier, and Lucas won his match, and but Knuschel had to play against Kaiser, so that was quite a tough matchup. But anyways, I think we should just go ahead and get started because I mean we still have 3 more series to go, and it's already what 21 GMT. So let's get things started. So first of all, we have Lucas here, and we have Knuschelbär. Both of them love the color green. So it happens that they're both playing as green. So it will be quite confusing to figure out who is doing what. So we have Nush has the French, and Lucas playing the Sioux. Now, this will be quite interesting. So right out the gate, we see Lucas is going straight for the TP. He sent all of his. He didn't even go scouting with his mango grove. He just dropped it down, threw all of his villagers on wood. Now he's gonna go and drop down a TP. Where Noosh is just doing pretty much standard French stuff. He's gonna be doing a TP with his 200 wood that he starts with, and then he's gonna go for the 100 wood for the house. So overall, I think things are looking pretty standard. A few changes that have happened. The war chief now has he no longer has the ability to convert animals that are treasure guardians, but he now has like a crack shot ability of which he can kill any guardian in one shot. He can still convert human guardians, but no longer can convert animal guardians. So that's a little bit of a difference from the legacy version to DE. I like it. Knuschelbär crack-shotted this treasure, went and built his TP, and then came back right afterwards and crack-shotted the other lion to get the 100 food. It's a very, very smart play while building that TP to have that crack shot go on cooldown. Some pretty decent herding from both players. Nothing too crazy going on. We have the native scout running around, checking all the different places. There's still four of these water buffaloes because on Punjab. So pretty much what Punjab is it's a like a remastering of Arkansas, which was an ESOC map. And now it spawns with these 6 water buffalo along the river. And then you also, both sides also spawns with a mango grove. So here's Lucas picking up a 80 food treasure, I believe. Yep. Meanwhile, Lucas is down here just finishing up the 65 coin treasure. And here's a new card. So Sioux used to start with 6 villagers. It was kind of a way to balance out the game. But so what they did to balance it a little bit, because everybody found that 6 villagers was maybe a little too strong. It made Sioux's timings a little bit too strong early. So what they did is they took 1 villager away, but gave Sioux the only 4 villager and H1 shipment there is in the game. So now Sioux can send 4 villagers in H1 instead of the typical 3. So this is one of the strongest H1 shipments, but it's just kind of a balancing out so that Sioux is still somewhat strong, but not as strong as they are with 6 villagers. So 16 Bill age up from Noosh. Let's go take a look, or from Lucas on the Knuschelbär side of things. We have the 14 Bill age up while chopping wood in transition. Gonna throw down a market. There's a nice wood treasure here that he's going to pick up. And then I'm guessing Lucas is grabbing that other trading post there. Wow, there's quite a few nice little treasures. This is one of the strongest treasures in the game, actually. One crack shot for 60 food. I think one of the other better ones would be, oh, that would actually be a good idea. Let's see if I can put on team colors so we can see better who is who. Oh. I don't think that setting worked. Friend or foe outline. What's the hotkey? Press F11. Yeah, F11 doesn't work. This is ugly though. I don't like that at all. Hold on 1 second, guys. Alt F, they say. How about that? How does that look? Now we have blue and red instead of green versus green. They're both going to be mad that they're not green anymore. But this looks much better. Alright, so Noosh was getting his upgrades in transition. Lucas as well threw down a market and is getting his market upgrades in tradition, as well as throwing down a TP. In case of any early aggression, I'm guessing. That's a bug, right? Yeah. So this needs to be rewritten, as it no longer boosts the gather rates of nearby economic units. It used to do this on one of the EP patches, but it no longer does. Gathering food, so 700 wood, and then a 4-vil age up. So both went up with the quartermaster, or the quartermaster and the chief, and now they're going into a barracks with musketeer production, and then we see war clubs coming out from the Sioux player. Going to go apply some pressure to this trading post while taking the TP line. Overall, pretty good herding from both sides. They're pretty safe, tucked under their base. These 5 musketeers are going to go and try to save this trading post, but I believe Knuschelbär, or Lucas, is going to have a few Setons to come protect these war clubs. So it looks like Noosh is going for a 10 musket FF. It's pretty standard play. Here are the Setons. I like this from Lucas. He's baiting them in. He's like, oh, come kill my war clubs. They're all alone. And then as soon as... Oh, it wasn't an overcommit, so... Usually you'd kind of want to pull your musketeers even closer so that they could get more shots off, but... Noosh didn't take the bait. Instead, he's just going to get the Explorer. Maybe one more shot off on the muskets. But he gets the trading post down, and he's applied quite a bit of pressure. Because Noosh does not want to send this 8 crossbow shipment, but he would much rather send the 700 coin and just go straight up to the next stage. Instead, he's going to have to stick around in age 2 for a little bit longer. Meanwhile, Lucas has already gotten Stagecoach. He has 2 of the 3 TPs, so he has a nice little economic advantage there. now Noosh has a question to ask himself. Does he throw down another military building and commit to the H2 to deny these TPs, or does he just put all of his vills on coin and go to H3? It looks like he's decided to commit to the FF while trading off some of these units. He's getting a pretty solid trade here. Overall, this has gone really well for Noosh. He's used his military shipment and those early age units, those early age 2 units, to kind of dwindle down the army. However, there's just too many Axe Riders left, and now it's looking like Noosh is in quite a bit of trouble. The reason he's in trouble is he got cleaned up, and now Lucas has this entire TP line. Wow. And he's at a hunt at 8 minutes into the game. I'm curious if that was just how it spawned. Maybe this hunt didn't spawn? But being as this is a recorded game, it's really hard. These are things that can happen as from streaming recorded games instead of live games. The casters can't tell the players of how the map spawns. But now it looks as though Lucas is just in a commanding lead. Noosh has gone up. Lucas still committing to the H2. He's not aging yet, but he still has the trading post, so he feels as though he's sitting quite nice. He has quite a bit of an army that he can push in at any time. I'm sure once he sees the H3, he'll just right-click Usage Base. Right, here comes the 700 coin. A couple of these, either these TPs are going to get switched to coin. Oh no. It looks like he's just going to make a full batch of Axe Riders, a full batch of Setons, and just right-click. So we got to see from Noosh's perspective. He has full batches of goons and skirms coming out, but I'm not sure if they're going to be out in time. If Lucas can get down these 2 military facilities, there's no shipment available, so things are looking quite dire for the French player. Well, these skirms are going to pop, but they have nothing to cover them. Here come the Dragoons. I mean, the Dragoons get out pretty unscathed. These skirms are still alive. But still, there's just too many Sioux units here. And with half the eco build up, I don't really know if there's much the French player can do. Like up here, he did switch a couple of these units to gather coin so he can have some coin in production. But I think it's 13 goons here. Yep. 13 goons versus the whole Lakota army. And here comes the Minutemen. Let's see. Let us see what he can do. Looks as though Lucas is just gonna walk away from this. Getting a nice pick on the Axe Riders coming in, but it just doesn't seem like it's enough. Lucas has all the eco in the world behind this. Now that gold mine and base has run out, the Minutemen doing their valiant effort to fend off the Lakota, but their efforts are in vain. Now we have 2 cruisers coming out. Once the market goes down, there's gonna be no more trading. A barracks is being dropped down, but in their house somewhere. Another house right here. They're going to need a miracle. Picking off a couple units, but losing a dragoon in the process. Oh, might lose 2. Yep. Losing 2 goons in the process. Probably not worth it. And now he's housed. Yeah, that... He was hoping to get like 7 crews at the same time and maybe be able to clean up, but now that he's housed, he's only going to pop 2 out. And then with the other 3, picking up the reinforcing batch of Axe Riders is pretty solid. As good as he could hope for. Here come the 2 crews coming in. It just seems as though there's way too much to. Nice drag box there from Lucas. So if you guys don't know, if your army is out of position, the positioning that your army will try to get into is cavalry in front, followed by a pikeman type unit, followed by the range infantry in the back. So if you just grab the whole thing and click to one side, they'll flip and run super fast to get into that formation. And here we are. I mean, the best the French could hope for. He has his crews on the ranged infantry, the goons sniping down the Axe Riders, but there's just too much from the Lakota player. And now it's all but over. Yep. So that's pretty sound. I think Noosh just got stuck between 2 ideas. He didn't know if he just wanted to age up with 10 muskets or if he wanted to commit and stay age 2 for longer. I think if he would have just chosen one instead of sending that 8 bows and sent the 700 coin and just went up to the next stage, he would have had a nicer timing window. But since he didn't, it just came to this fight, and there's too many Setons and too many counter units. So in the end, it goes to the Lakota player. Alright, well, I believe that's about it for this one. I guess we'll check out the economy. Yep, just slowly letting those 3 TP stagecoach pay off. But let's go ahead, hop into game 2. And game 2, I believe, is on Siberia. I might have to reopen the game. Oh no, I know what this is. Hold on 1 second, guys. Alright. So let's go ahead and hop into game 2. Got the colors right. It looks like it is China versus Japan. Lucas on China, which is one of his premier civs that he loves to play. And then Knusch playing the Japanese, another civ that he is quite known for. So we're just going to go ahead, hop on in. Let's actually check the map, just in case there's any. Mostly it's more important for the Chinese player. Not that it actually makes a difference, because we can't rehost it, but just to see. It looks about fair, I'd say. So, China has 300 wood at the start and 200 food. So what they like to do is they like to put 3 bills on wood and 3 bills on food, so that they can have constant food production while they try to get out that village. That's very important. They want to get the trading post up because they need the experience to do their fast fortress that they're going for. Most Chinese players will just go straight into H3 by sending their Age 1 card, which sends a villager to, I think it's called Northern Reforms. Northern Refugees. So it'll send a villager to every village that you have and every town center that you have. So it's like a 2 villager shipment for China. So they'll send that first, and then they'll send 700 coins, 700 wood, and go straight up to H3. On the other hand, Knusch is he's building a consulate in H1. He's going to go straight in and go ally with the Portuguese. And what this does is it makes all of your non-gold, or I believe non-military buildings cost less wood. So what he's going to do now that he's allied with it, he's going to build a shrine. So that he can continue to build villagers. And then he's sending Kami, which also reduces the cost of shrines. So he can get his shrines down to only costing 75 wood. Which is great, because the Japanese get a small trickle from each shrine. And that's how they kind of build their eco. Kind of stopped scouting with this orchard, but it did a fair decent job of scouting the right hand side here. Not too many treasures going on so far. I think Lucas got 175 wood. It might have been a bigger treasure than that. Oh, you can't check the logs while casting. Because enter is fog of war. So Knusch just poofed back. Now he's going to start walking over to this side. Another cool thing about the Portuguese consulate is that it makes your age only cost 680 food, because that too is a non-military building. So it reduces the cost of that as well. So Knusch should be aging, but I guess it's more focused on this treasure real quick. Oh, never mind. He built a villager. Okay. And then the macro is to split. You need to keep 6 villagers on food in order to continue to have constant villager production. And then you want to put the rest of your villagers on wood to continue to get that shrine population up as high as possible during the transition period. I don't want to see how much Lucas has actually explored. He hasn't gone very far with his monk. However, his disciple is out here trying to find the new world, I think. Well, not anymore. He's going to lose it. So he's going up with the Summer Palace. This is pretty standard. It gives you 400 food as the bonus for the age up. And then it'll slowly train banner armies for the Chinese. So usually you'll get one second age army out, and then after you age, you want to switch it over to a third age army. That's kind of the standard idea for a Chinese FF. So I'm curious to what Lucas is going to do with this wood that he's gathering. I'm guessing he's probably going to drop down a market and get a market tech or two in transition. But I'm not sure. Maybe his idea is to play H2, kind of like Maito was doing earlier today. The deck really doesn't tell you much because this is pretty standard for a FF or FI deck. So we have no hints there. Just doing a little bit of scouting, herding in this next hunt. He has plenty of hunts under his base right now, but it's always nice to grab another one. Ah, 7 step riders first. So this will be interesting. Easy to use. So step riders, they're really good against ranged infantry, but terrible against heavy infantry. And then they're also excel because they have 7.25 speed and 25 siege. So they're going to do an excellent job of coming over here and clearing up a lot of these shrines that Knusch has been throwing down. So we got to see how this pans out. Meanwhile, in the Japanese base, first card in H2 is the 600 wood, so he can drop down his barracks and continue to do his shrine booming. So I'm curious to see. He's at about 100 pop right now. He didn't finish this one off yet, but so it looks like 100, 110, 130 so far. You just sneak this explorer away, probably drop another one right here. And then, okay, he's splitting up his step riders. I think what he's trying to do is he's trying to find these monks. If he can kill or send them back home. So this is very smart from Lucas. He's going to check each one of these hunts and see if he can find one of these monks to send it back home so that he can only shrine stuff like this. And so that's what these. He has a group of 4, which do 100 siege damage, taking down. Well, now it's just down to 3. Taking down these shrines that he has found, and now he brought the Quang Pikemen afterwards. So these also excel at taking down shrines. So we will have to see of how many of these he can take down and how well Knusch can defend them with his. He's going to go with the Ashiguru approach. And so far, I think it's been 600. Yep, 600 coins, 600 wood first, then 600 coins so far. So now Knusch is macroing to age up. I believe he has both of the berry upgrades and now getting civil servants. So his villagers are probably doing a decent job at gathering food. No, I think he only has one. He has tier 1 food and civil servants, so he's missing that second tiered food upgrade. So if he could get 10 more, if he could get 10 more wood, he could get that, which is huge because he has essentially all of his villagers on food. Lucas is. So Lucas sent back to back unit shipments, 7 steps, the 9 Quang Pikemen, and now the 8 Chukanus. The Chukanus will do great if they can get into. So there's the snare going down, and now he's just got to see how many of these Ashigurus he can pick off. That's very well done from Knuschelbär, just dropping that one. The one snared Ashi back, and now he picked off that last unit snaring him. But Ashi and Chukanus have the same speed. Both of them have 4.5 speed, so what Chukanus want to do is they want to abuse their range advantage. However, now that they're snared... oh, never mind. That Explorer had essentially no health on him. I was going to say that these are going to do a great job. Once he cleans up these Ashis, these 5 steps will completely tear through these crossbowmen. These bestieros from the Portuguese consulate. And now, I mean, Nush is aging behind this, but completely cleaning up this army is terrible for Japan. Because now China just has full reign to deny all of these shrines that he's been building. So just having 5 Ashi left, this is not where you want to be in as Japan. Usually as Japan, you want to keep that small little army that you build up alive. And kind of sack the houses. Like if you lose some shrines, it's no big deal really. They're only 75 wood. But if you lose all your units, then once you get to the next stage, you're quite vulnerable. Because you have nothing to really protect your greedy age up. And Lucas getting there first, he went with the porcelain tower. What the porcelain tower does is it gives you a slow trickle of resources over time. Most people like to set it to wood, because that is one of the hardest resources to get by base stats of your villagers. Villagers only gather wood at 0.5 wood per second, and then all the other resources are a little bit better, with coin being a little bit better at 0.67, and then huntable animals starting at 0.82. And then these can all be upgraded at your market. So far, I'd say Lucas has done a pretty solid job of keeping the shrine count down, again, dwindling that second aged army that Nush is trying to use to protect his shrines about the map. And containing Japan to only having 130 shrine pop is a job well done for China in Age 2. Now here we go. We have 10 arquebusiers coming out for the Chinese player. These are essentially China's skirmishers. And we have 2 rickshaws coming out as the first card in Age 2. I want to say that Nush could have switched those. He could have gone 5 Nagi first, or even 5 Ashi first, but... So these step riders, all they're doing is trying to snare this musketeer mass so they can't get away and pick off as many of these as possible. Because essentially these step riders aren't great at this point. They're not really going to do that great of a job, and if he can pick off some of these strong Age 3 musketeers, that's a win for the China player. Meanwhile, there's just been a couple of these Quank Pikes still sieging down a couple of these shrines. And here comes reinforcing the 6 Yumi from the age up, 5 Nagi who haven't been upgraded yet, and then there's about 7 Ashi. And these meteor hammers, they look so cool now. If you look at these meteor hammers, they have this gigantic ball and chain they just come and smack people upside the head with. So we'll have to see. Now I understand why they do ×2 to cannons, because I think if you hit a cannon with that, nothing's coming out of that cannon. So let's kind of calmed down a bit. We see both of the Discipline Ashi, Discipline Nagis have come in for the Japanese player. Still, Lucas being very diligent, cleaning up these shrines as much as he can, while Noosh is being very diligent and reproducing them on the other side of the map. So it's just as one goes down, another one spawns and it's somewhere else on the map. And Lucas saw this explorer and sends a couple cav, peels off a couple cav to go take care of that pesky explorer, building shrines everywhere. This looks quite Japan favor. Okay, the redcoats come in just in time for this fight. And here comes another reinforcing batch of 3 cav. So because Nagis have multipliers against infantry units, they really don't have that much hand attack compared to cav, so this Chinese cav is doing a fantastic job of taking up these Nagi. And then meanwhile these arquebusiers are sniping down the Ashi as well as they can. This is looking very good for the Japanese player. Everything should get cleaned up here, and that looks like it should be over. Even though China did really well in keeping down the shrine count, Japan is just too strong. Their Ashi Nagi, the Husk Musk on steroids, is just too much for the Chinese player. It would just seem as though those 3 military shipments that Lucas did were just not enough. Didn't do enough damage for them to pay off, so I'm not a China player, but it would just, I think that he has to do more economic damage than he did investing 3 shipments into the H2 just to kill a couple of these shrines. I guess this is actually better. So he only killed, yeah, he only killed 7 shrines, which is not worth 3 shipments. I thought Lucas was doing a good job, but I am not a connoisseur of Japanese or Chinese play. So that evens it up. So it's now 2-2, or 1-1, excuse me. And let me go grab this last recording. Alright. Let's make sure we have the right one. Okay. I don't want to open saved games. I want to open this saved game. And it is back. The Swedes have emerged. So we have Swedish, and I believe this is Manchuria. Sweden being played by Lucas, and French being played by Knuschelbär. So Noosh is right back to the French. All tied up 1-1. France is good on this map, or at least they have been known to be one of the better picks on this map because livestock spawns around the map. I believe there's 12. And it's nice to have a second scout to go run around and pick up as many of these water buffaloes as possible. Again, he is microing his villagers properly, putting the three bills on wood so that he can get that house up before he gets to 10 villagers, while keeping a couple on food. And just out there with his, I believe the best way to scout this map is to run to the middle and then just draw a line down the middle, and that's where you're going to find most of these pairs of water buffalo, or the yaks. See, there's a pair here, a pair here, and a pair here. So you know there's going to be one that spawns on this side of the map. There'll be one that spawns in the middle. It's up here. And then there's also going to be one that spawns down here. So when playing Manchuria, it's best to run to the middle, see if there's any, or run up to this trading post, because this will give you line of sight if it's on this spawn where the trading post runs along the side here. And then just run down this line to get as many of these yaks as possible. I'm gonna check. Yeah. So I didn't know this before today. What used to happen in this map, but since they've changed it on DE, it now spawns unfairly. Oh, I guess not. This spawn of the map is fair. This is an interesting spawn of the map. So in a game that I played earlier today, this map, or this mine, was a gold mine, and I didn't go up and check to see if this mine was a gold mine. But having a in-base gold mine for Sweden, you got to put 6 torps on this thing, because it has 5k. It has 5k res. This thing's not going anywhere. And having a gold mine in base is just the best thing that Sweden can ask for. So the way to put 6 torps on it is you kind of make parentheses around it. You can put one here, one in the middle, one here, and then 3 around the other side, so that this, you want to utilize this gold mine as much as possible. Meanwhile, let's do a quick cow check. So there's 1, 6. Looks like Knuschelbär got 7. There's the 8th one, so that means there's 4 over here for Lucas. Knuschelbär just got the fragrant cinnamon, which is guarded by 1 panda, and it'll give you 55 coin. And then he's just out here scouting, making sure he can check on these hunts with his scout. So looks like a 14 bill age up. I'm guessing the same standard. Yeah, pretty standard, with 2 warship shipments, just in case there's any water shenanigans going on. And then Lucas has pretty standard. He does have 4 Fusiliers in deck. I'm not sure if this will get used, but it is kind of a fun card. It enables Fusiliers to be trained from Sweden Saloon after sending it. So let's see. Oh. So he's going up with a naturalist. Naturalist is the 2 semi-fattened cows and 2 villagers. Whereas Noosh is going up with the quartermaster, I believe. Yep. So this is pretty, again, pretty standard, I would say. The market is down. Did he just build a house? Oh, he just dropped a TP. So Noosh is going to go for, I think, all 3 of the TPs, and then go stagecoach, and then try to defend the 3 TP stagecoach. It will be interesting. Let's see what he has seen. So he hasn't seen Lucas out here building torps, but he has his native in stealth. He's going to park it right outside of his enemy's base. He just walked in. He sees, I think he was trying to go for this treasure, but having seen those 2 torps on it, decided it wasn't worth the risk. Getting steel traps, going up with, or getting 700 wood. So as soon as this 700 wood comes in, he's going to drop down another trading post and then finish off the stagecoach. It's nice he has a bear musketeers in production. So it looks as though he's just gonna build musketeers, defend his trading post line. 4 vills coming in. Nice economic shipment. He's done a decent job herding the bills in, or herding his hunts in. He still has these 8 cows, of which he hasn't. 8 is usually the number that you would want for a livestock pen. I thought he was gonna send them right here, but I guess he's gonna go find the explorer and kill the explorer. Now switching into crossbow production. I wonder if there's gonna be 700 gold behind this, or 8 crossbows. Because if you're gonna go stagecoach, there we go, 8 crossbows. I was gonna say, it's like you're gonna want to have somewhat of a presence on the map in order to have to be able to keep these trading posts up. So he's gonna have. This is nice. He can go for this treasure. 3 tigers is nothing for a H2 army. So he just sees these. I don't know if he saw it or not, but there's another villager right here for Sweden. 5 Carolins have come out. Just see what's going on in the Swedish base. So it looks as though he went ironworks first. Yep, ironworks first into 700 wood. Carolins in production. And now he's just gonna. He has 10 Carolins out. Gonna deny this trading post line, or contested, I would like to say, and continue to torp around the map. So here come another 5 Carolins. I think he's already eaten. I believe he's already eaten the cows. So Carolins running into melee. They do extraordinarily well in melee. In range, they don't do so well. But these 8, I believe these 8 crossbows will deter this army, and that's pretty good pickup for the French player. He's able to defend his trading post, keep his 3 TP stagecoach line, all while trading pretty well. Here come 2 leather cannons to come out. Now this will turn the fight for the Swedish player. There's not really much that many civs can do to deal with the 2 leather cannon shipment, especially having these fast Carolins to protect them. They can snipe down any 3 cab shipment or anything along those lines. So it looks as though it's going to be leather cannons and then, okay, not quite an H up, but looks like he's going to get out one more batch of Carolins and then maybe go up to H3. He does have enough wood to drop down a second barracks, but so Knusch has opted to go for the cav to help snare this army, because being able to snare this army and then just DPS it down at range is what I think Knusch is looking to do. Knusch is in a good position here, I want to say, because he has the 3. He has a 3 TP stagecoach. The only thing that he doesn't have is Sweden spawns in with a gold mine on this particular version of Manchuria. I think in other versions of it, you spawn in with 2 silver mines, which each have 2,000. And It's too late. He shows up at this gold mine and already sees that there's 4 TP or 4 torps on it. So Lucas just hit H2 or H3. He's gonna take that TP and then run back, get some upgrades. But Noosh is looking to catch this army before all the upgrades can come in. So here we go. I believe it would be better just to volley and take one volley and kill those cannons. But it looks like those leather cannons are just going to survive this entire thing, and this is just not how you want to play it. With no answer to these leather cannons. They're not great, but if you just leave them alone, they will continually get shots off and do extraordinarily well in long extended fights because it'll just continually trade off units for free. And now Lucas is taking the line. Gonna shoot down these hussars. And now it's looking very bad for the French player. He's gonna drop down a second barracks, start pumping out 10 Carolines at a time. He now has the range upgrade, so these Carolines now have 15 range. And are going to chase down these 5 skirmishers. Get them for pretty cheaply. Oh, but he's going to get all of these 8 Carolines. So even though he's cleaned up over here, all of these are going to get cleaned up in return. I think cruisers, when they get in melee, they do pretty well, but they need skirmishers behind them to help DPS down Carolines. But they just need to run away, wait for whatever shipment is coming in. No, there's the 2 Falcons. 2 Falcons have came in. And now these 4 cruisers are caught going for a raid, and that's not looking good for our French player. I think if you could have kept those alive and then got maybe out another batch of 4 of them or so, parked them behind, like parked 2 cannons behind them, and just, you could have had a chance there. But going for a couple kills on some hunting bills, I don't think that's particularly a great idea against Sweden. Raiding Sweden, that's not where all of their eco is. Because where Sweden is strong is when they have the numbers advantage. If you can dwindle down their Caroline mass, then they're not nearly as strong. But if you're trading units off for Sweden units in an equal trade, it's not going to go great for you. A couple units over here going for a raid on these French villagers. I'm guessing this is yeah, Lucas has 1 more hunt. And Carolines do great against French villagers. You just put them in melee. take them all out. Oh no. Nush is going in, trying to pick off the... Okay. I mean, this is not the worst trade, but he's gonna lose his second Falc, and I don't think those crews are gonna get that last Falc. I mean, at the end of the day, this is probably the best fight that Noosh could have gotten. So both have used up their Falc shipment. Now Noosh probably has goons. I don't know about that one. I think in this case you probably want to send more Cuirassier. And then I don't know about range cap Caracol. I guess just because of his current macro. But goons do very terrible in this matchup, I think. Because unless you've seen, because I mean, oh, maybe that's what's tipped him off. He saw Lucas built a stable. And so maybe Lucas has baited him into going goons, even though he has no intention of going. Oh, he's getting vet Huss, but he has no Huss on the field so far. Lucas sent 10 Hessian Jaegers. And now he's getting the upgrade for a ×1 multiplier against Cav for his Carolines at range. And I think that's all he's gonna need. Because Carolines will just deal with the veteran Crusaders very, very handily with this card. And then these 10 goons aren't really gonna do too much. So he's gotta pull him. Pull him away. Maybe tanking with the bills might help. Yeah. Lucas could micro this better, but it looks as though it doesn't even matter. You just right click. All these villagers getting cleaned up. 5 Huss coming in to continue to snare and deal damage. Jaegers popping down the Dragoons. These Cuirassiers are cleaning up, but all this is already getting cleaned up, so this is looking like it's a big ogre. Sweden wins again. And that's all but GG. There's not really much else the French player can do. He has no way of ever dealing with these Jaegers or this Caroline Mass. I believe Lucas now has 10 cav, or no? He dealt with the other 5 Huss, but there's another 5 Huss out. And just continually pumping out 15 units at a time. This gold mine still in base. The Queens have done a good job of getting on top of the Jaegers, but Like I said, at this point, it's just a formality. There's not too much left that the French player could do here. And that'll be it. Lucas takes it 2-1. And Lucas is on the Garjonians, so the Garjonians are up 1-0 in this best of 3 tiebreaker. Just Sweden eco. I think what Knusch could have done better is this fight was, it's just so hard to deal with Sweden. Or what he could have done is just pick Sweden himself and done a Sweden mirror. But yeah, this fight right here, where Sweden crushed this fight, is pretty much very difficult for France to come back after that. Lucas just took one TP and then denied another one. And that was kind of the end of the game right there. All resources gathered. Things were pretty even. And then just at the end, Knusch ran out of hunts, and that's why his food production, I'm guessing, teetered off there at the end.